back, everybody, to another episode of Gas is on the Right. No, he's got a chance to win the race.
I think that might have been like one of the cleanest hits I've ever seen in a NASCAR fight.
Side Rick. Yeah, the back. Oh, bend to the wall hard goes Ryan Blaney.
And he finally came to a stop, and it was just dead silent.
I said this last week, and I'm going to keep reiterating it. Live with the decisions you make, drive by the decisions you make. Don't change up your style, but also just don't be dumb.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Gas is on the Right. This week we're going to dive into Dover, where Denny Hamlin got his 54th win and his third win this year. I guess the hot topic was Alan right with his way too early championship pick, or is it just a hot start?
I think that I am right.
Is it finally his year?
I don't know. Last year he made hats saying it was his year, and it wasn't his year.
That is true.
Well, I mean, he did say they're all in this year with the number 11 as the L's. So
Yeah,
I believe
and
that
that's what Alan
carries
had
some
on the
weight.
back of his senior jersey.
That really is. Look at that. It wasn't even planned, but here we are.
Yep.
Alan did it first.
Yeah, I did it first. I'm going to have to copyright claim him.
Yeah.
Sorry, Denny.
Yeah, there's an infringement there for sure.
So, 54 wins, third win of the year. Third win in 5 weeks?
11 races. Yeah.
Yeah, and then 11 races.
Technically, it's 4 wins because he won at the Clash too.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall this year, 4 wins. I mean, off to a hot start. Points-wise, he's okay, but it's kind of an all or nothing right now. I mean, we'll touch on that.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
His
average finish. His average finish is what, like 14.5 or something?
Yeah, Emily, you got that up on the average?
Average finish 14.2. Yeah, right there at it.
14.2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, checkers or wreckers, literally.
100%. Yeah. So, and his only 3 top 5s are his 3 wins this year.
Yeah.
Points paying
That's
top
insane.
5s are his wins. So, I mean, you look at he was running top, running for the win at where were we just at? Texas. Wrecked out at Texas. There's a couple others in there. So, and we're going into a very good portion of the schedule for him.
Yeah, we're going into the Denny Hamlin stretch right now.
Yeah, with Kansas followed up by Darlington. I mean, it's right in his wheelhouse to rattle off another one before Wilkesboro. So,
where do they go after Darlington?
Wilkesboro.
And it is that when the All-Star race is? I thought there was one right after Darlington before the All-Star. I don't know. Nope. I'm wrong.
Kansas, Darlington, All-Star.
My bad.
Wow, we got 4 weeks until we're in Charlotte too. Coke 600.
I'm so excited.
It's coming up
I need to book our hotel room.
Yeah.
You really do?
Yeah, before they get ridiculously expensive.
So, but yeah, I mean, dude, Toyotas in general, and I guess I say this more or less, JGR Toyotas in general. What is up with them? I mean, a level above the rest in that regards. So, I mean, Truex.
Besides Christopher Bell right now.
Oh, dude. What, last 4 races wrecked out? Or a wreck in it?
I don't know, because that's what I was looking at back at our notes. And after Texas, he was 10th in points, and now he's 17th in points. So within 2 weeks, he's dropped 7 spots in the standings. Him and Bubba Wallace both have, because Bubba Wallace was 9th, and now he's 15th. So they've just plummeted in the point standings the past 2 weeks.
Horrifically at that point as well.
Mm-hmm.
Horrifically. Oh my gosh.
I mean, just got to be honest with it, you know? But I mean, also you're talking about some last place and 35th or worse finishes for these guys over the past 2 to 3 weeks. Those string together.
Yeah, last week wasn't their fault. They got
they got caught up in.
Dude. Yeah. at Talladega, they got NEMA checked. That wasn't their fault, and really, it wasn't their fault this week either. They got Zane Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, that was there's a lot about that one that's just kind of you know. Let's see
Yeah, but
here.
Martin Truex started off hot. It looked like we are going to have a back-to-back year of a Truex sweep because he got out there early because he started outside the top 10 and ended up winning the first stage. So obviously,
what did he start?
I think he started like 13th or something weird.
13th,
So he started
14th.
Yeah,
We're talking about Truex.
he started
right?
off outside the top. Yeah, he started off outside the top 10 and ended up winning stage 1. And then Larson won stage 2, and he started outside the top 20.
But that's his
First.
6th stage of the season.
Yeah, he's well, that's why he's the points leader. He's killing it in the point standings right now.
Yeah, getting all the points throughout the race and not just trying to get the 40 at the end. So they rattled off their one win and
let's see. Talking
and
like average finishes.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting at 11.7 average finish in first. Truex sitting in second with a 9.4 average.
Yep.
So
But
that should tell you how
those
much
stage
wins
wins
matters.
Yep. Because Truex is behind him 15 points, and I think Chase Elliott has the second best average finish right now, and he's third, back 33 points.
Well, I mean, even if you look at that, you're talking 6 stage wins. That's 60 extra points.
Yep.
Right there.
Yeah, Chase Elliott has a 10.3. So I mean, like just in
That's
the
what
top
Allen
3,
used to
Larson has the worst.
Yeah, we're talking about.
But yeah, he's first.
Talking about Bell and Wallace falling off. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
My picks have fallen off too.
Yeah, as soon as I gave you your flowers, you killed them.
A little overwatered, I think is what happened with that.
You accidentally sprayed the Roundup in them.
I thought it was fertilizer.
Yeah, but I mean, looking down the schedule, that's what I was looking, trying to pre-plan some of like my picks out. And I was looking and I was like, I don't see a race that a Hendrick Motorsports or a Joe Gibbs driver is a bad choice. It just seems like the more you go down the list, the more realistic it is for one of them to win there and no one else. I feel like if one of those 8 drivers, I don't even think it's an upset at this point if Alex Bowman wins, because he's stringing together good runs and knocking on the door of that win.
Where's his average finish at right now?
I think his average finish is in the top 10. Or not top 10, but like the top 10 of driver average finishes.
13.6. So not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I mean pretty solidly right there.
He's having it seems like he's pretty on par from where he was last season before he got hurt. Which last season before he got hurt, he was on the path to looking like he was gonna have a win that year too until he got hurt. So, but that's what I wouldn't be surprised if any.
Hurt? Like, is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm saying this is about where he was before he got hurt last year. But that's what I wouldn't be surprised if any of those 8 drivers won on any week.
Moment.
You can't pick against any 8 of those. It's an upset if someone else wins outside of Hendricks and Joe Gibbs.
Especially
they haven't even won an Xfinity or trucks yet. We're 11 weeks in and there is 0 wins in any series. It's just Chevy and Toyota right now. That's insane. Now, in the Xfinity series, it's a little bit more diluted because SHR is really the only one with a legitimate shot every week to win. Ryan Sieg Racing is kind of there, but SHR is really the only Ford team that has a shot to win.
As a threat
in the Xfinity series.
Aspect.
Yeah. But in the truck series, there's plenty of ThorSport. Ben Rhodes won the championship last year,
Mm-hmm.
But they're way off the mark. So, yeah. So if one of them wins, that is an upset win. but unless it's a super bar besides the super speedway, if they went on a 1.5 miles for short track or something, it'd be surprising to see one of them win.
Yeah. I mean, you only got one Ford inside the top 10 in points right now, too, and Ryan Blaney.
Blaney. The real surprise is the next one is Chase Briscoe.
Yeah. That's a talk
he
about
is
sleeper
silently
right
having
now.
a really good year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Average finish is 14.7, but he does have 4 top 10s this year.
Yeah, I didn't even know he had any top 10s.
Yeah, me neither. He's been so silent.
That's right. He's been that quiet. But another Ford that's kind of gaining momentum is Noah Gragson's had 2 top 10 finishes back to back. That's the first time he's ever had that in his career. Which, granted, strategy did play into that this week, and last week was a super speedway. But I'll be curious to see how it translates next week to Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, still a big points deficit to overcome, but he's up to 21st in points at negative.
Yeah, he's probably gonna. If he's gonna make it,
225.
he's gonna have to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a long way to go. So, well, let's wrap this puppy back into one. Let's talk about Dover a little bit. So, Ryan Truex wins the Xfinity race, second year in a row. Same exact celebration. That was actually pretty funny. They were talking about like he looked the exact same as he did in 2023, getting out of the car and raising his hands up. Like very good at taking the same photo, but not as dominant as he was in 2023.
Gosh, man, I thought Carson Kvapil was about to pull that one out of the hat. Well, at first I was like, Cole Custer won. It's about to rain. And then the next thing I know, they're like, we're raising the red flag and we're going back racing. And I was like, oh. And then everybody else had pitted just in case they went back racing. And then Cole Custer and Justin Allgaier had stayed out. And everybody behind them dipped. And I was like, nah, if they're staying out, we're going to pit just in case. And that basically ruined their races, and it shuffled out to Austin Hill and Carson Kvapil, and those two were really the ones battling. And then eventually Shelton Creed got in there as well. And man, I don't know if y'all have seen the video of Carson Kvapil taking the lead from them, but he went 3 wide on the back straightaway. He had so much momentum, he went 3 wide on the back straightaway and took it down the back straightaway. And was gone. And then, the overtime finishes kept happening. Hill spun out on the inside of him. And then Truex got him. I was like, dang. And I thought he had it. Honestly, that was a really compelling race. Yeah. In some aspects, it is.
Still, I mean, part-time driver.
Yeah.
And Truex.
Yep.
So Ryan Truex being Martin Truex's younger brother. I think it's younger brother. It is younger brother, yeah. So, but then we go on to good old Sunday.
For Emily's favorite driver, got a pole.
Yes.
Why are you gonna make fun of him like that?
And not the kind that they had on the infield of Talladega.
Don't bring it up. We're not talking about that.
So, well, Kyle Busch wins the pole. And he made some good statements that I think that we spoke on last week as well about it's a defensive car. It's an Aero car. There's an argument here with it. You can pass 20 guys, but you can't pass the 21st guy.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like, it's hard to say that you can't pass in that car because Truex won the first stage coming from outside the top 10. And then Larson won the second stage coming from outside the top 20. And Chase Elliott was right there in the top 5 as well. And he started almost 30th. So how can you say you can't pass when those guys came all the way through the field and won stages and finished in the top 5? It's hard to say you can't pass. Obviously that there is the great tool of aero blocking to make it harder for someone to pass you, but is that a bad thing? Like, it's like the leader. Honestly, it's the leader's advantage. You don't like it? Figure out how to get around me. The aero blocking can only stop so much. Obviously, you've passed this many cars to get here. You know, that's my whole take on the aero blocking thing.
I was gonna say,
I look back to races that we've had in the past, and I look back to aero block races we've had in this car, and I look at racecraft when it comes to that. It comes down to your ability to drive your car on the edge and not go over it. We've seen it happen, and we've seen it not happen. We saw it last year. Kyle Larson leading at Kansas, overdrove it. Had to check up, and yes, Hamlin got in the back of him, but at that point, Hamlin had the line, and it was Larson that missed it. And then you look at Texas. Texas people said notoriously can't pass. Well, Denny Hamlin could have got there, and he overdrove his car in the top lane. I mean,
you have to
the
learn the
Aero,
car.
the Aero, do what?
You have to learn the car.
Yeah,
I
you have
think
to
I
be.
think with
Go ahead.
Bush, I have a whole opinion when it comes to Bush and this car. Seems like anytime he does good, he likes the car. He has good things to say. Anytime he does bad, he literally will tweet and say he hates the effing car. And at that point,
That's
I think
every
that's
car
just
Kyle
Bush.
Busch has ever driven.
I was gonna say, I literally think that is just Kyle Busch throwing a Kyle Busch fit. Look, he may be my favorite driver, but
The
lack
more
of better
things change, the
term.
more they stay the same.
Exactly. I was gonna say something very different, but he
Well,
throws fits when he doesn't get his way. He's like a little toddler sometimes. I say sometimes, most of the time.
Yeah, and the cars that he's been getting 95% of the time.
I would
so
say, especially this season, he's had a very frustrating season, but I think that this is just proof that he's throwing a fit. I don't think there's anything wrong with the car. I think it may be Kyle Busch just not learning how to drive his car.
Well,
I think what's wrong
he's
with the
still
car
got wins.
is this is going to sound really controversial and probably not be agreed with by almost anybody, but I think it's the fact that we overhyped it in our brains to think that it was some majestic creature that was going to fix everything that the Gen 6 couldn't do. And it's not. And it's one of those things of like, yes, there's things that we can do to change it. There's things we can do to fix it. But everybody complained about mile and a half. Mile and a half are the best tracks. Everybody complained about this. Everybody complained about that. Now we're complaining about this. If you like strategy and purist racing, you're getting it. If you like passing and running wide open, wait till Kansas. Wait till Charlotte. Wait till Atlanta. Wait till probably Iowa. I mean, wait till some of these other mile and a halves come up. Wait till Pocono.
Indy.
I mean, there's so many things that this car is good at, and there's some of these things that this car is okay at. And the other thing is, like, we know what we can have with this car too when we look at Bristol this year. We know what the car can be, and we know from the facts is that NASCAR has pushed Goodyear to the point to make that happen after Martinsville. So that's something that we're going to see at North Wilkesboro with they're running two sets of tires. You have the primary tire, and then you have the option tire. So there's all these factors in and of it. But at the end of the day, I mean, we got to accept what we have because they're not going to scrap it. They're not going to put them in Xfinity cars and label them as Cup cars. They're not going to do anything like that. There's no drastic change that's going to be made right now. So I don't want to say adapt to the racing, but maybe get a different perspective of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, everything the Gen 6 car couldn't do, this one can, but everything the Gen 6 car was good at, this one isn't good at. Like Gen 6 car, good at road courses, good at short tracks, good at super speedways. This car, not good at those, but really good at mile and a halves.
Which is like 70 to 80% of the races. But also, I mean, let's think about this. I thought NASCAR fans were diehard sports fans, but it looks like the Detroit Lion fans are more loyal than we are. And if you don't like Sunday's race,
there's a lot of people there at the track.
So yeah, I think Dover was packed. From everything
that I saw. A lot
that
of people there for a Dover race.
Wait, hold on. I want to back up real quick to go back to the car. I have one question for y'all.
Okay.
Do y'all feel like, and we've had this discussion before, do y'all feel like no matter what NASCAR does, no one is pleased with the results?
Oh, yeah.
There's always people that are going to complain.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying most people.
It only takes one whistleblower. It only takes one
Well, I
voice,
mean,
and the
I mean, you're going to
masses
complain
come
about
after
the
it.
old car. Now you're complaining about the new car.
yeah. Well, I mean, the new car obviously is fixing things. I mean, if you look at Jeff Gluck's polls, which are law in NASCAR, like at the what was the Kansas race last year? Wasn't it like 90%?
Yeah, Kansas was up there.
And that was a dying racetrack before
Mhm.
the next gen car came.
I mean, think if they went back to Kentucky
Or Chicagoland.
or Chicago. Chicagoland, I think, is gone at this point. I think it got sold to
It's still
development.
there.
Well,
Oh,
I
it
think
did?
it's been sold, like Auto Club was.
Hmm.
Mm.
Wah, wah, wah.
So, but I mean, you got Kentucky that we don't go to Kentucky anymore. We need to go back. This car would run amazingly there.
Yeah, but what are you going to get rid of to go there?
Mm,
That's the tricky part. I'd say we're a little too watered down on the road courses right now.
yeah.
You know,
And you can't cut
Chase
Charlotte
Elliott was
Roval
winning a bunch of road
and not give
courses,
us
and
a
they were
second
like, let's
Charlotte.
add. Yeah, they were like, Chase Elliott's winning a lot of road courses. We'll just add 5 more to the schedule, and NASCAR fans will be happy. And then he hadn't won anything since.
Yeah, we're gonna get a second Texas date next year.
Yeah. No repave. No repave. Chase Elliott won. No repave.
Nothing's needed. Leave it alone. But yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter stands is the car is what the car is, and they can make all these changes they want to in the world. The biggest thing is like the changes that maybe quote unquote needed are drastic changes when it comes to tire size, ride height, things along those lines, your aero, your diffuser. Um, I mean, I really just think the biggest thing is there's no longer that bubble, and your leader now has the advantage versus the chase car. And that's the way that
Mhm.
I mean, home field advantage is a thing. Taking the kickoff at the second half is a thing. Getting to bat in the bottom of the ninth is a thing. There's an advantage there. There's an advantage at that point. The overtime system in football now, there's a reason that it goes back and forth. There's a thing. You have a chance. That gives the leader to where you can't get to them and do like the Xfinity cars can do and move them. You can't. You have to actually figure out how to get by. And if you don't, that's why the leader's there. That's why Denny Hamlin can put on a master class at the front of the field, and so can Kyle Larson. And so can a lot of guys
Yeah.
that if they get up there.
I mean,
but
yeah,
you have
but
to.
if you put a different guy besides Denny Hamlin in first place, Kyle Larson would have overtook him.
Mm-hmm. You put almost anybody that was in that field Sunday in Denny Hamlin's place, Kyle Larson's probably going to win that battle. So, and I mean, you put Kyle Larson in that place. I think that there's a chance that he could be beat by some guys because you've seen what Bell and Reddick have done to him in the past. So, and how
Yeah,
they're able
well,
to
I
shake them loose. How
find
Larson's
it hard. Larson hurts himself most of the time in those
Yeah.
situations.
But I mean, that's the thing is like, Denny Hamlin has this innate talent of being able to really manipulate the car behind him. And I think that's what makes him so lethal when he gets up front. And the rest of these guys just got to figure out how to get around it because there's a pocket somewhere. You just got to find it.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a pocket for you to get to him. You got to find the pocket to pass them. And the other thing is, don't let him get out to a 4-second lead.
Yeah, that's what when he took the lead, he took the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, Kyle Larson tracked him down at the end of the race, but still, when he finally took the lead, he was gone. He had the biggest lead anybody had all day.
Right.
But I mean, I don't hate that the leader has the advantage because in the old car, Denny Hamlin would have been a sitting duck because Kyle Larson could have got to his bumper and manipulated the air on his bumper to where he could have got around him. I mean, that
blowing
just
the bubble,
doesn't
he's loose and
like.
backing into the wall.
Yeah, like thinking about it, that just at the time I was like, oh, cool. Second place has this advantage, but shouldn't the leader have the advantage because he's the leader?
And
Shouldn't it be harder to
that's what you
pass
have.
the leader than anybody else? You know,
Exactly.
and
And that's what this car's created.
now we have that, and I feel like it's kind of got like a negative tone behind it, but I don't feel like it's negative. I feel like that's a good thing, but that's why. But I guess that's the difference between a fan NASCAR podcast versus a driver or a spotter NASCAR podcast is, but I mean, I think what we say is kind of pretty important. We're the ones that watch it.
Yeah.
It
I
needs
mean,
to
the
be
thing
stuff that we
is
like, and
also
I like the
their
idea that
paychecks are
leader has the
affected by this.
advantage.
Ours aren't.
Mhm.
So, like for me, while
But
I
NASCAR, we
make
are for hire.
we're 100% biased.
We are.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact of the matter is like you can sit there and say all these things, but like we just reiterated, is the leader should have an advantage of some sort. There shouldn't be the chance that you get to his quarter panel, burst the bubble, and he's gone back into the corner.
hmm
It should be that, and I think that's at every position because now you're seeing the cream rise to the top of the guys that can really drive and aero drive because that's where the car's at. That's where the sport's going. We're not going to be running 212 miles an hour around Talladega. We're not going to be running 202 miles an hour around a mile and a half or a 2 mile. It's just not the case anymore because of safety. And there's a whole reason for that because if you look, put Eric Jones's wreck at 10 plus more mile an hour and see what happens to him.
Man.
So I would much rather than be running 190 versus running 202 with him going headfirst in the wall like that. I mean, put it in perspective. So put the perspective of the wreck that happened at the start finish line at Talladega, and think about the cars that would have blown over in that instance with another 10 mile an hour.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even think about Ryan Blaney's wrecks he's had at Daytona that are very Dale Earnhardt. He had two very Dale Earnhardt-esque wrecks right there.
So
and think about if they were going faster.
The safety is the factor. So it comes down to now with the cars being in a box, it is up to your setup and your racecraft to be able to win a race. And the cream is rising to the crop. Look at the guys that seem like almost outliers right now. The Noah Gragsons, the you got the Gibbs, you got the Briscoes, the Bushers and Keselowskis, who Keselowski we know, but Busher showing those flashes. Bubba Wallace showing flashes. We're seeing these guys that, with the cars of just being able to go fast and have a good setup and having the money in the car, that now have a good racecraft, being able to produce results. Which then, again, the cream is rising to the top of who is actually competitive in this series versus who is not as competitive. You're seeing. Sorry, there was like gunshots outside.
Now you know how I felt the
Nice.
other week.
So, but you're seeing these things that are happening.
Vegas is popping tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. But
Is that the ones that
sorry,
we hear from time to time?
I think so. It keeps the property values low. Really helps out on taxes.
The block is hot.
But no, I mean, we're able to see drivers actually produce a racecraft and put a race together, and not just. There's still that luck and calamity that is involved, but there's a lot more talent involved than what there was. And that's where you're seeing these guys that are good at what they do win. The Byrons, the Larsons, the Hamlins, the Reddicks, the guys that are running up front, the Truexes, the Briscoes, the Gragsons, the Chastains that are silently running really good.
They're just not winning because they're not in JGR or Hendrick cars.
Yeah, and I mean they're right there though. So that's my
Speaking of
TED Talk on
silently
this.
good, what about Colleague? They had a pretty good qualifying effort with Allmendinger and Hemrick, and then Hemrick got his first top 10 finish of the season, and Allmendinger finished 13th. That's the best they've raced all year. They've been basically non-existent, and then obviously, Hemrick had the strategy go right for him towards the end of the race. But I mean, strategy wins championships.
Luck and calamity.
And yep, he was there, and he was able to stay in the top 10.
Yeah, Hamlin, what are their averages finishes otherwise for Hemrick and Allmendinger? I'm going to guesstimate
See.
17.2.
For Hemrick,
Yeah.
I'm going to say 22.5.
22 even for Hemrick.
Mm.
Wow.
So I need to
That
go
was
with my
good.
second guess on my pick today. Got it. So, I mean,
Okay. Hold on. Okay, never mind. Sorry. I looked at Allmendinger and I was confused.
I think he's only ran like 5-6 races.
He's only ran 4, but his average finish is 12, and I was like, wait, what? Hold on, and then it I remember.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? And he's not in the Cup car.
Yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
funny. I was looking at driver averages earlier, and your out of the last 6 races since Bristol 2024, your best average finish is of 6th place, and that's Anthony Alfredo. And that's because he's raced one race, and that was Talladega. And he scored a top 10 in the last
Hey, he
6
won the
races.
Dash for Cash and the Xfinity this
He
weekend.
He did. I saw he was very pissed off on X at first because it seemed like they did the interview, and then they never aired it on TV.
Yeah, because their TV broadcast went an hour past when it was supposed to because of the rain delay. So they interviewed the winner and got out of there.
Yep. See you bye. Yeah. Speaking of broadcast,
It's like you finished ninth. Good job, buddy. You know.
Oh my gosh, Fox sucked. Like Sunday, it was like 10 minutes of commercials or probably more than that. I think there was 4 commercial breaks or 5 commercial breaks before the end of stage 1. And there was one caution?
Yeah, and that's one of those things to where I don't hate it in the first stage. Like, get all of them out of the way. Towards the end, we can just go caution free, but it's just not. But I mean, they're about to pay NASCAR a lot of money, so I guess they got to put some ads in there to be able to pay NASCAR the money they're wanting to pay them.
Yeah.
That is a good point.
And I was Mike Joy a little off Sunday. You had Eric Bell in the 43 car.
Yes, you did.
I think there was another one. It was like Tyler Roddick or something. Just a little off with his verbiage. A little worrisome for somebody that's a big. I love Mike Joy in the booth, but I mean, it was
something to
like
keep an eye out. Rick Allen, NBC bumped him. He's not the play-by-play guy every Sunday anymore. I think this is the last year of his contract. And Rick Allen just posted some Instagram photos with Adam Alexander and then Phil Parsons, the guy that's the play-by-play for. So it's a play-by-play for trucks, Xfinity, and then Rick Allen.
Silly season 2024 rumor. Rick Allen to Fox.
Rick Allen to Fox. Yeah.
All right.
You heard it here first.
I like it. I love Rick Allen too. Like Rick Allen is just right up there with him.
Is that our first silly season rumor of the year?
I think that is.
I feel like we've had at least one before now.
I don't think we've had a silly season. I don't believe we have. We'll come up with some more. We're just gonna throw crap against the wall and see what sticks.
We gotta think. Leave us alone.
Yeah, we crapped the bed last year on the silly season rumors.
Yeah, I don't think there was any.
I had Corey LaJoy to the 10. I was way off.
I was gonna say, did any of those come to fruition last year?
No. I tell you what, I wish I would have put
Besides,
money
like,
on
the
Michael
blatantly
Penix coming
obvious
to
ones.
Atlanta.
What?
Speaking of silly season, I wish I would have put money on the draft day of Penix coming to Atlanta, because before they bought Kirk Cousins, that's what I was saying is that Atlanta was going to draft Penix, and I'd have been right, and I don't want a crap ton of money doing that.
Yeah, because the odds were so low. Because why would you draft a quarterback when you just paid $180 million for a quarterback for 4 years? But I digress. It's the NASCAR podcast.
I was gonna say we got way off.
Where's our comparison? Trackhouse and Zane Smith. There's our comparison.
I mean, that seemed like a good thing until this year, but I don't know if Spire's off or the Corey LaJoie flare is gone because he's 30th in points and Zane Smith is 35th in points. However, Carson Hocevar is 21st.
Or
20,
21st.
yeah, 21st, 22nd. Yeah. So he's doing
First
okay.
Hocevar is 20th.
Oh wow, we're both off.
Yeah.
We're counting.
Either
it down.
way,
Thank you, Emily.
way better.
Sorry.
Way better
Fact
than the other
checker
two
below.
guys, you know? So I don't know if Spire has fallen off or I think I don't know. Is Carson Hocevar just that much better than the other two guys?
Did that
Apparently,
Gainbridge money not actually mean so much in year 2 when
Yeah.
trying to run 3 full-time cars? I think the
say
resources may
Hocevar.
be stretched then. Do what?
Yeah, well, they got. Well, I mean, their trucks are doing really good.
Are
Oh,
they
those are Kyle
dumping
Busch
all of their
Motorsports trucks.
resources into trucks?
I don't think they're putting more money in trucks and Cup. Cup pays a whole hell of a lot more than trucks do,
Unless your truck's winning almost every week.
which theirs is.
There you go.
So number 7 Spire Motorsports truck is first in owner points, and owner points is what pays.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then
just,
I think they got the 71 and the 2, or 71 and the 77.
let's see here. The
And then
71
they have some
is 8th,
affiliates.
and the 77 is 21st.
And then the
That's
2.
it. Does the 2 though? No, that's Rev Racing.
I think they're an affiliate because the 2
Oh.
has a Gainbridge sponsorship.
Well,
So
if
it's
they're
a
affiliate, they're
possibility
fifth.
that trucks is more profitable for them right now. And
No,
they
I
may
still
be
think
dumping
30th
their
and Cup pays way more than 8th in trucks do.
What about first in trucks though?
21st or 20th and Cup
20th.
pays way more than first in trucks. If I had to guess, I don't know any factual numbers, but I'm pretty sure if you look at, because Bob Pockris posts the purse of winning each race, so I'm pretty sure the 20th place is a lot more than first in trucks.
I mean, you never know.
But you can be confident.
I
So,
admire the
all right.
confidence.
Where are we at? Because I feel like we have been off the walls.
We've been all over the place. So,
I mean,
kind
we
of
don't have
random.
much to talk about. You find
Yeah.
a lot.
I know, right?
So, Emily, reel us in.
All right. Random thing that came out in pre-race interviews with Larson is that Harvick will be driving the number 5 car at North Wilkesboro. Not driving it in the race, he'll be driving it for practice and qualifying. He's
Well,
not
possibly driving it in the
possibly
race,
depending on
on how qualifying for the IndyCar race goes.
Yes. So he's not fully coming out of retirement, but we may actually get to see another Harvick race.
And
And
only
how
Yeah,
took
funny
and it's
you-
going to be
would it be
weird
if
seeing
he
him
won?
in a competitive car too.
I think he made that joke. He was like, I don't think I'm going to drive it as fast as Larson does, though.
Yeah,
6 months. It took him 6 months to go back on his promise of never getting back in a Cup car.
And that doesn't shock me,
Yeah, I
though.
know.
Because it's Harvick.
I just can't believe they didn't get Dale Jr. in there. I was really hoping for that.
I don't think that
You talk about a
Junior
money
would get
grab
into a
at
Cup car.
Wilkesboro, the track that
I
he
just
brought
don't think
back.
so.
I'm surprised if the day they race Xfinity cars there, he'll be in one.
Exactly, that's my point. Is he is
But-
more Xfinity car.
I know, but Dale Jr. could have got the sponsorship. It could have saved Rick Hendrick money of having to put HendrickCars.com on it. You know,
No, he definitely could have, but I don't see Junior racing in Cup. Xfinity,
know.
of course, he still
a
does.
boy
but
can dream. I can dream.
I know. I wanted I wanted him to do that, but that doesn't. I just
I
don't
mean,
see
Kevin
it.
Harvick does make the most sense just because of
I mean, he just drove.
he's the freshest retired driver, you know.
Mhm.
And Eric Almirola is obviously tied up on a Toyota dealer or a Toyota deal, so can't get him. But I mean, if the choice between Almirola and Harvick, I think
Harvick,
that's a pretty easy choice,
Harvick, all the way. But you also have to think, like, from a Hendrick standpoint, you have Harvick, who is not just driven this car and knows this car, but he's won in the car. He's competed in the car, comparative to Junior. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, you got to
We were
think
just talking about the difference of the
Harvick's
cars.
won in Kevin Harvick's won in that car, and that his cars weren't as good as the Hendrick cars, and he still won.
Think about
against
what
him.
he could do with a Hendrick car.
Yeah, that's going to be the most competitive next gen car he's driven, even when he went back to back 2 years ago.
That's true. So, well, welcome
So
back, Kevin.
what were the
Predictions.
TV?
Wait, hold on. Do we think that he actually has potential to win?
No.
Maybe a top 10 qualifying effort.
Oh.
Maybe a heat race.
Yeah.
Y'all don't
I
have
think
any
he'll do
faith.
it. He'll
Y'all
do
are
okay.
pessimistic.
Oh, ye of little faith.
No.
I
We're
would
realists.
love to see Harvick come back 6 months later, first race wins it.
Oh, don't get me wrong. That'd be awesome. And then he would definitely never get another one to say, yeah, I won my last race and then never do it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
That's
true.
100%. So, but yeah, welcome back, Kevin.
But now
Harvick.
that the
Was
yeah,
such
but
a
now
weird
that
announcement too.
that it's out that
It was
Kevin Harvick's
extremely
gonna be,
random.
Yeah, that Kevin Harvick's going to be in a Chevrolet. Will we see him at any point during the year in the 88 in the Xfinity Series?
No.
Mm-mm.
You don't think
I
so?
don't think he'd go. I don't think he'd go for Xfinity. I think he'd only come back for Cup.
I think he is racing some car store races.
That's the only place I think you'll see him otherwise than this. I mean, from what he said in the interview is it's hard to tell Mr. H no. And when he asks you for a favor, you just better do it. But
yeah, he could have asked me.
Yeah.
I don't think we should trust you with a Cup car.
You don't even have to pay me. I'll drive up there on my own dime.
Yeah. I'm just here for the experience, man.
Yeah, dude. So he said wall
You know,
rides are
I feel like
legal
that would be
in
kind of funny
exhibition
to
races,
watch
right?
y'all. I feel like it'd be funny to watch y'all actually competitively race in the Cup Series.
We need to go get on the Sims.
Oh, that would be.
I just say it would be funny because y'all sit around and y'all are armchair drivers some days, and y'all
100%.
critique. I want to see y'all actually get in a car and try to competitively race these.
All right, so we gotta go do the
my
racing
Heat 5
experience.
record speaks for itself.
Heat 5 is not actually driving it.
Our racing on a true sim. Let's go.
Okay, I'll take that.
Chevrolet,
We got to
Ford,
find a place that does
Toyota,
that.
hook us up. One of us help. One of them help.
Speaking of this announcement real quick, it seemed awkward. That was the only thing I noted from it. Was the announcement when Larson said it. It was an extremely awkward.
I'm gonna be honest.
statement.
Larson is kind of an awkward guy in those situations.
Yeah.
I
just
think
from
it
his
may be
interviewing
that, but
standpoint.
he was just kind of like, here you
If
go.
he's not doing a victory lane interview, he's just kind of like, meh, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
well, and it's kind of awkward to announce, hey, you're driving my car.
I don't think Harvick knew he was announcing it right then.
And I'm over the Harvick Boyer banter at this point, because then Harvick, I think it was Harvick that looked at Clint, or Larson was like, "Yeah, we would have asked you, Clint, but Kevin Harvick's better." I'm just like, I'm just tired of hearing it. It's not funny as it was at Daytona and at LA. Like, it's not funny.
Mm-hmm.
I want to actually hear stuff.
I'm kind of over it.
You have Mike Joy. It's like when the girls are in the car and we're trying to have a conversation and they just jump in. And while, it's cute and funny the first couple times, but then you're like, can y'all just stop? Like two bickering kids, just stop.
That's such a random comparison.
But it's the best.
But I totally get it. And I only have one kid, and I totally get it.
Yeah, it's just like,
Me and Alan will be like, "The sky's beautiful" or something like that, and they'll just jump in, and I'm
they'll be
like,
like 97 pickles.
the most random stuff,
Yeah,
and
that's
you're like,
how fast your race car was.
okay.
Yeah.
It's 97 pickles fast. Mine's 98. That's why I won more. Like, what?
Yeah.
And then they start fighting.
Yeah, no, I'm over the banter. I'm so ready for NBC to grab this broadcast. I think, before Pocono? Or at Pocono? Somewhere after Charlotte.
So
was
does that mean
Nashville.
that you would like
Nashville.
to either
Nashville.
like that leads me to, I think, would you rather have one of them not in the booth next year?
Yeah.
And if so, which one would you like to get rid of?
No, just cut the crap a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see either one of them go because I enjoy Boyer. I enjoy Harvick. And
Boyer
we'll
brings
enjoy
energy,
Rick Allen.
Harvick brings insight to the car, and Mike Joy just
Right.
brings all this knowledge. So it's great. But
He's like an
cutting out
encyclopedia of NASCAR.
It's like those awkward jokes,
Eric
like when we
Bell.
first met and I told you
That's all
about
I'm
sailboat
saying.
fuel. You remember that? The sailboat fuel joke? Like, that's exactly what it is. That's the situation that I feel like we're in when we watch cup races. Because I went to talk to her about something completely random, and she was like, "Is there anything here?" I said, "Just sailboat fuel," and she just went straight over her head.
And the more I asked him what he said, because he mumbled
worse it
it,
got.
he kept mumbling it lower, and then it got real awkward, and I just walked away.
Like
That sounds like Alan.
That's how I feel like
Oh,
these
I forgot about that.
broadcasts
That
are
is
going. With all this, just like it's like Clint will say something, and Harvick's like, "Well, I was better than you," and then it's like, "Okay,
okay.
I know that."
We know.
Why was that necessary?
And I feel like
All
it's
right,
prompted too.
real.
Like, I feel like this is all prompted. Like, I don't feel like
Do you
this
feel
is
like
like
that may
normal
be why
banter.
it
Like
feels so
Kevin Harvick saying
unnatural?
lit.
Yeah, or yeeted.
Nah.
He yeeted Corey Heim.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Corey Heim, congratulations on his first Cup Series start, 25th place finish.
Yep. I think he finished ahead of Nemechek.
I don't have those up yet. I don't have the race results. Hold on.
Gosh, you're slacking. What are we paying you
Alan
for?
had them earlier. You do not pay me. We have talked about this a lot.
Well, maybe if you were doing a better job, we'd pay you.
With
You guys are getting paid?
Yeah.
wait, you guys
What?
are getting paid? All right, Nemechek 20th. Heim
Well,
25th.
whatever.
So,
He
but yeah,
finished in front of Keselowski.
Oh yeah, Alan's pick. Shame.
I don't want to talk about it.
All right,
Alan's
let's talk
depressed.
about the TV ratings.
Alan.
Not out yet. But I will say this. So I looked at a poll. The Xfinity Series was the #1 motorsports event this weekend watched. The Xfinity Series at Dover, followed by the IndyCar, then followed by the Cup Series. Or it was the highest
The
rated.
Xfinities.
It was either the
Xfinity
highest
Series beat
rated
the
or
Cup
the
Series
most
race?
watched. I don't remember which one in motorsports, but it sounds like the Xfinity Series may have beat the Cup Series. But the ratings have not come out yet. I think they'll come out tomorrow, so we will have them reposted on our X account. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, from the polls that I saw, it looks like the Xfinity Series was like the favorite event of motorsports in the U.S. this past weekend. So
Has that ever happened?
I don't know, but it's almost like Jeff Gluck should do a poll on what was the best race of the weekend. That's gonna be our claim to fame. What's the best race of the weekend? Truck, Xfinity, Cup. Follow us on X. You'll see the poll. We have a blue check, so check it out. We're legit.
Check it
for
out.
a premium.
Speaking of Jeff Gluck.
What was the poll, Emily?
Oh, see? Beat you to it for once.
I said it
60-40. As of right now, it's not like official closed with 22,000.
I can't believe 40 people didn't like it.
It's not.
I mean, 40% of people didn't like it. You know what I meant. Listen to what I say.
No, I really genuinely
mean
thought
by
you were
what I
making
say.
a joke about 40 people not liking it for a second.
Yeah, no, I mean 60-40, I think that's about what you'd expect from what Dover was, you know?
I just thought that was a compelling race.
So it wasn't
Which
it
that's what
wasn't
me and
great, it
Alan
wasn't bad. It was
me and Alan
decent.
talked earlier.
It was a race.
It was a pretty good race, and I can't believe like we don't have anything to talk about with how it was a pretty good race, but we have nothing to talk about really. There's nothing groundbreaking from that race, but it was a pretty decent race.
Yeah, it's one of those like, would you watch again? Maybe, possibly not,
Yeah.
but possibly. I don't know. So I don't have any hard feelings towards it. I don't have any great feelings towards it. It was just good.
It was a race.
Decent.
It was
Respectable.
entertaining.
So, well,
let's get
move
into
to points.
I was gonna say.
Well, I'll let you go down the list.
Well, all right. Larson, Truex, Elliott, Hamlin, Reddick, Byron, Blaney, Gibbs, Bowman, Chastain, Busch, Briscoe, Logano, Busher, Wallace, Keselowski. Gosh, that was a lot.
A big thing is if any of these guys want a chance at that regular season championship and those, how many extra playoff points? 5?
15 or 5?
15?
Is it 5 or 15?
I don't remember.
I think it's 15.
This is why NASCAR doesn't pay us.
Yeah.
But those extra playoff points and the big old trophy after Darlington this year, they're gonna have to start stringing together some stage wins. My goodness, that was rough.
I think Chastain and Bowman are a stretch to get it, but I don't think anybody behind Chastain has a shot.
They'd have to string together some phenomenal days with
They'd have
basically
to
stage
win
points
like
in every stage.
Yeah, they'd have to win like 5 races in a row, you know, and
Yeah.
get stage point and win each stage, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in perspective, Chastain and Bowman are both tied at 9th and 10th, with Bowman having the tiebreaker at 108, back 108. And it's 40 points just for winning a race. So that's 2.5 races just for one of them to have a shot. And the odds of
And that would be if everybody else
races
finished in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're really talking 3 full races right there. 3 race wins with everybody else finishing outside the top 20. So I wouldn't put it further past Gibbs, honestly. And Gibbs is kind of
Bowman and Chastain are long shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there still is 15 races, you know, and that summer slump comes and hits some people harder than others. Ask William Byron.
Ask Christopher.
Do we want to talk? Do we want to talk about moves within the points this week, real quick?
Yeah, what you got?
I was gonna say. Thank you. I'm glad you asked. Hamlin moved up 2, while Byron fell 2. You got Bowman and Chastain who literally switched places. You do have Busch up 6.
That's good for him.
Logano and Busher both came up 2, but you have Wallace who dropped 4 and Keselowski who dropped 2. And then just to throw it in because it's right here, you have Christopher Bell in 17th, and he dropped 4 spots.
Yep. So Bell falling out drops Wallace and Keselowski out. So them losing 4 and 2 drop them out of the points standings or the playoff standings because Bell and Suarez are outside the top 16.
Yeah, Bell is lucky for that Phoenix win right now.
And then you also have Bell who fell from 10th to 17th. He was in 10th after Texas, and now he's in 17th.
In
Like-
2 races, he's dropped 7 spots.
Right.
It happens that quick. So 2 wreck days, and you didn't get any stage points beforehand. That's it, buddy. So I think he finished 36th at Talladega, and he finished like 34th, 35th at this past weekend at Dover.
Bell? Where is Bell?
Bell finished 34th at Dover.
Yes. Sorry, you beat me
And
to it.
Dega, I just have to scroll to the bottom. Yeah, 38th at Dega. Dead at last at Talladega.
He got
So-
NEMA checked.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like we may need to make a graphic for that.
a graphic
NEMA
for
checks
the
the new
points.
Chastain.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that. We'll start popping the points graphic up on screen. We'll do that next week. So, but yeah, some big shakeups here. Out of your top 10, who do you see as your regular season champion right now? Because it's starting to kind of form up, if we can see who is going to be there.
Hard to bet against Larson right now, or Hamlin.
I can't believe I heard you just say that.
Say what?
You really think Hamlin could win the playoffs?
He's won 4 races this year, 3 that count.
I thought you
No,
were
I
about
didn't
to
say-
say
I
he
didn't-
won a
you said-
championship. I was probably like,
No, we're talking
No, we
about
haven't.
regular season championships, not the playoff championships.
oh, I thought we were talking about playoffs. I would say
Listen.
Larson. Larson is dominating.
Yeah, but
Well, he's
Larson does
dominating,
get
but
some summer
Truex-
slumps.
Yeah, and Truex is only 15 back. And the summers,
No.
most of the time when Martin Truex heats up.
I'm
And
not
that's
looking
when in
forward to the summer.
2022, Elliott heated up, was going into summer.
Hmm
So there's
Started at
There's a-
Nashville.
So there's a lot of things that can happen. Again, like you said, it's hard to bet against Larson or Hamlin.
Larson.
I would say with Hamlin being as in as he is, I could see him starting to stage race a little bit more to try to get that playoff point cushion, because that's what he's going to need. But he needs to get those 5 points too. He
Carry
needs to
him
have
to
like
the
a Hamlin
end.
22. So, because that'll carry him through to the championship 4, and that's what he needs to do, and then go to Phoenix with a fast car.
I think you mean 2020. In 22, he only won 2 races.
I was talking about Elliott in 22 when he won 5.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you said Hamlin. Pretty sure he did.
Because you remember Elliott built such a big points lead that, like, he wrecked out at Darlington, he wrecked out, and he won 1 race in the playoffs, and that was Talladega.
Yeah, Talladega. Yeah.
And he
We were there.
we were. But there was his points cushion from winning the 5 and the regular season championship is what got him through the playoffs to the championship.
Completely.
4, is really what happened. That's what carried him, because he had that points advantage
yeah.
every round.
Yeah, because
So-
he had an abysmal playoffs.
Oh, it was horrible. So
But it wasn't enough for Truex last year.
yeah,
His playoffs
mean-
was worse than Elliott. It's almost like
Yeah,
you don't
dude,
want
it
to win
was-
it, because it's been bad luck the last 2 weeks. Or last 2 years. It's been bad luck. Yeah. I don't want
yeah,
it.
you
You
win
take
it and
it.
you don't you don't go anywhere with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, where are we heading from there?
Excuse me.
There's
I'm
no
sorry.
place like home. Kansas.
I'm about to be happier than a tornado in a trailer park.
Dale, yeah. Alan, what do you expect from Kansas?
I expect a really good race. Lots of passing, lots of slide jobs, couple wrecked race cars, and probably a Toyota win.
It's hard to bet against the Toyotas or Hendrick car at
Mhm.
Kansas. I expect Air Denny Part 2,
Back to back.
back to back.
I feel
Hmm.
like that is him making his pick.
Twas.
That sounds pretty.
I get to pick first.
I know. That's why I'm mad at you. Now I have to go pick someone else. Hold on.
Well, what do you
Alan, did you
expect
delete
from
it off there?
Kansas?
I put it in there earlier.
No, I didn't delete it. I haven't been in the spreadsheet yet.
I didn't
Oh, I
delete
put
it.
it in there. Yeah, Emily,
Mm,
should we
mm,
go over our
sure.
points standings now? Who's winning now? Just out of curiosity.
We are tied.
Who went? Who has the tiebreaker win?
You. It's fine. It's
Oh
all good.
man, you guys remember when I was in dead last with no wins?
Wait, how do
And here we are.
you have the tiebreaker win?
He has
Because
the
my
highest
average
average finish.
My average finish is 13.5 and she's
Oh, yeah.
15.75. Alan,
Yeah.
you remember when you had a 10th place average and now you're 16th?
I don't want to talk about it. You know,
I feel like Daniel is
What is it?
extremely silent when he was in dead last, and now he is
I'm like a supernova.
spoken.
Oh,
Burn
I am
bright,
a
die
humble
young.
loser, but I am not a humble winner.
Humble loser.
Hey, I wasn't griping and complaining when I was in last.
What?
I was
Okay, I will give.
Excuse me?
Okay,
Excuse
wait.
me?
That's debatable. I will say you may not have talked, but you were silently defiant.
Oh yeah, I was super salty.
Oh, well, you're about to
I
get
could
saltier.
tell when
it's about to be a
Larson
three-way tie after
won
this week.
Vegas. I texted the group chat and no one said anything. And the only reason Alan didn't say anything is because he was sitting next to me.
And she was like,
What?
Daniel's probably pissed off right now. And I was like, yeah,
Oh,
he is.
You have no idea. I hate losing more than anything in the world. I hate
Me and
losing.
Alan
I'm
have had
so
this
competitive.
conversation.
Ah,
Oh, shit.
it's probably a character flaw, but you know, I like it.
Sorry,
That's
I
all
just
good.
dropped my chair to the ground on accident. Scared
Well,
the crap out of
to
me.
go over the points total, me
Mhm.
and Daniel are tied with 5 points, and Alan has 3. Technically, Daniel is winning out of the 3 of us because he has the highest average finish.
Who's number 3? Who's number 3? The Intimidator.
Let me do my Kyle. This is my
The
Kyle
person
Busch
with 3
bow.
points.
Look, this pick, I'm going to do my Denny Hamlin and hit it out of the park.
Well, you got to wait for Emily to make hers first.
I was
That's
gonna
true.
say,
Mhm.
hold on.
This could be make or break for me.
All
Oh, let me pick your pick before you pick it.
right, go
Pick
ahead.
your pick
Try to
before you
sink
pick
my
it.
battleship.
So obviously, Daniel, you
You're
picked Hamlin, which is a solid
correct.
pick
Yeah.
for this week.
Oh, you've already picked Larson, haven't you?
Yeah, I won with Larson at Vegas.
All right, you're gonna go with Tyler Reddick. Am I right?
Solid.
That was, I mean, that was not my first pick. What is your argument against Reddick being picked? Why do you feel like?
Against? Why
I
didn't
guess maybe not against. Why? What is your argument for Reddick actually?
He's won there last year.
Once. One
Yeah.
top 5. 3
Yeah,
top.
and when he wasn't winning there
17.3
before, it's
average finish.
because he was in an RCR Chevrolet, but now that he's in a 2311 Toyota that has dominated at Kansas, it's kind of a no-brainer to pick him.
You know,
The
for
45
once-
car has won with 3 different drivers at Kansas.
For once, I will trust you, and I will pick Reddick.
Hey, every
Which
time you've been like,
Doesn't win me.
I don't. Every time we've made you a pick and you're like, I don't think you guys are steering me in the wrong direction. That pick always ends up finishing better than all of our other picks.
That is true.
That's true. Very true.
All right, Reddick. Locked it in. Alan, who do you got?
Christopher Bell. See, guys,
You know,
what
I
y'all don't
thought about
remember
Bell
right
for a
now
second, but
is if you look at my picks for the first part of the season and look at my availability right now, I'm still sitting on Larson, Bush, Elliott, Gregson, Blaney, Briscoe, Busher, Truex, Wallace, Byron, Reddick, and Hocevar and Suarez. So I got a pretty decent lineup still waiting in the reserves right now.
Yeah,
I just
I mean,
want
I
that
still
to be
have
known.
Chastain, Larson, Elliott, Blaney, Busher, Logano, Byron.
See, and I already have
I
like my
mean,
next 3 weeks picked out too.
too.
I still have Chastain. I do have Barry, and y'all don't have Barry, and I feel like he's coming.
Yeah, every time we've picked Josh Berry, we've got burned on that pick.
That's true.
Yeah, you just
I
gotta
That's
like,
what
pick the
he
right
Jackson.
one.
finished.
I still have Hamlin.
Yeah,
I do
he
still have
finished
Hamlin.
25th with me and 36 with Allen. Well, me and Allen can't pick Denny Hamlin anymore, so
I know.
Hamlin's
You
a
got
great
that
pick
going
for
for
next
you.
week.
I got
Yeah.
Briscoe, Busher,
Darlington is like
Bell.
a great place to pick Hamlin.
Oh, someone did not take Logano off of mine. I have McDowell going.
There's still a lot of good picks on the table for everybody. I just feel very confident in my reserves department that I have because I got some wins with some out of pocket picks. So
Let's see. What were your picks this? You
Yeah, you
had.
won with LaJoy at Atlanta.
I won
You
with
do have
Gibbs at Coda,
Hamlin. Yeah, LaJoy.
Hamlin at Daytona, which was like who didn't get wrecked out.
Gibbs at Coda, you predicted really early in the season, though.
That is true. So,
Or I
but
say
yeah,
really early, but I think it was like 2 weeks before that.
yeah, I think I'm gonna start posting this graphic too come next week. So be
I've been on a
prepared.
hot streak besides picking Josh Berry at Martinsville. Other than that, I had 4 top 10s in a row, then he screwed me. And now I've had 3 top 10s in a row.
Well,
I've been doing pretty good with my picks.
I've had 2 outside the top 30 and 1 top 20 in the past 3 weeks. It's been rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
Texas and
You went
Dover.
from a
Let's
third.
do a quick statistics check-in for our picks this week. Starting with Hamlin at Kansas. 4.3 average finish.
Solid pick.
1 win.
2023 spring? Sounds right?
Yeah. This race last year.
Yeah.
Yes. Reddick, 17.3 average finish, 1 win.
2023 fall.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bell. Where is Bell?
No wins. Average finish of, I'm going to say 12.5.
I thought he won at Kansas.
I don't think he's won Kansas yet. But
Hold
he's
on.
so good at mile and a halves.
14.7, no wins.
Ooh, I was close.
2 top 5s, 4 top 10s.
Well, so here's the thing that comes into play with Kansas, and we saw it this weekend at Dover. If you can aero block, you can hold the lead. But we've seen Bell run down Larson multiple times on these style tracks. Las Vegas earlier this year is one. We look back to some fall races from last year. Bell knows how to get up there, and Bell is very good at mile and a halves. So I don't think that his win column and win total on mile and a halves shows for it. But overall, he's very, very good at them. And I think he's up there with the elite in the mile and a half category when it comes to this Kansas, these ovals, with the tri-oval style ovals, such as Kansas and
Las Vegas.
I think it fits his wheelhouse very well, and he's very good at being able to put himself in the right spots. So especially Kansas over Las Vegas, with Kansas being a multi-lane track.
Mm-hmm.
So Kansas, you have bottom, middle, bottom, middle high, middle, and then high. I mean, there's so many different options that you can pick at Kansas. And that's what makes it such a great race, is it's a cat and mouse of where you're going to go. So, and it's the leader having to guess correctly and hope that he guessed right. If you have Larson on your tail, just go high. But anybody else, it's a hit or miss on where they're going to go. You better hope that you can block.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where this car shines, and we're going to see it this weekend. I expect another 90% plus pole from the Jeff Gluck pole, which is NASCAR law, and I expect hold on. I did not contradict myself. I had to make sure of that. I expect Toyota to win. I contradicted myself earlier in the season, so I wanted to double check myself. But I would definitely predict a Toyota win here. And obviously, we all feel the same about that. So
Yeah,
No, I definitely.
it's going to be a Hendrick win, or not. It's going to be a Toyota win or Kyle Larson.
Yeah, agreed.
Mhm.
So, well, guys, I think that wraps up the show for the night. Be sure to follow us on all of our social medias at Gases on the Right podcast. If you can't find us that way, just search Gases on the Right in the search bar. You'll find us that way. Be sure to follow our sponsored driver, Tyler_B_racing on Instagram. Daniel, if you have some other announcements, I'm going to get that schedule up real quick.
I think that's all we got, buddy. You got our following us, following Tyler. And
everything is linked in whatever description of where you're listening or viewing this.
Yeah. Do us a favor and share this episode to where all your people can see it and help us get out there a little bit more.
Yes. Yeah, we would really appreciate the likes, follows, and shares. We got some big things hopefully coming here soon. Just keep your eyes open for that. We'll be making announcements in the future. And also, Tyler will be racing this weekend at All American Speedway in Roseville, California. So if you're out that way, make sure to attend. If not, we will be sharing where you can watch in our social medias. So again, follow us there to get that access. We hope to talk to you guys very soon. And if you see us on our socials, interact with us, comment, like, subscribe, whatever you got to do. We love you, and we'll talk to you next week.